First of all, I'd like to thank the Seattle Police Department and the Seattle Police Department's Real-Time Crime Information Center. The Amber Alert system worked today, and we're extremely happy. About 11 a.m. this morning, the Lake Forest Park Police Department responded to a residence because of a 911 hang-up call. As officers were arriving on scene, they observed a vehicle recklessly leaving the residence, and officers gave chase. However, after a short pursuit, our officers were unable to apprehend him. Our immediate investigation revealed that Mr. Terrell Chesney forcefully abducted his son, which he did not have custody of, nor did he have permission to be on the residence. Our staff worked closely with the Bothell Police Department Dispatch Center and the Washington State Patrol to immediately issue an Amber Alert. Within minutes of issuing that Amber Alert, Seattle PD's Real-Time Crime Information Center began receiving tips, and within 45 minutes, that our suspect was in custody. While he was on the run, Mr. Chesney caused multiple collisions and attempted to elude police officers in the city of Lake Forest Park and Seattle. He also forcefully collided with Seattle police officers just prior to being taken into custody. Today, Mr. Chesney will be cited for or charged with custodial interference, assault, a protection order violation, felony eluding, DUI, and child endangerment. The Amber Alert system worked today flawlessly. Our partners in law enforcement, the State Patrol, Bothell Police Department, Seattle Police Department did a fantastic job getting the suspect into custody.
Can you talk about the timing? I know you said at 11 o'clock you guys responded or got the 911 call. It seemed to be a time after that, before the Amber Alert actually was issued. You know, what went into, how long it took, and the decision making behind it? So
it took approximately an hour and a half before the Amber Alert actually went out. We were working with the State Patrol to identify the criteria, and we were hung up on one criteria, was the child in danger. And as we explained to them over the phone how we left recklessly, and then at that time we received information about the collision that he was involved in South Seattle, then it was apparent that we needed to issue the order. Mr. Chesney is well known in this area and is a violent offender, and that also played a factor. He did not have custody of his child, and he did not have access to the premises, and he should not have had his child, and that's why we issued the alert.
Chief, do you believe that technology played a crucial role in helping save this child?
Absolutely, no question about it. Seattle Police Department's Real-Time Crime Information Center received tips almost immediately, and you know, I'd have to defer to them to provide the exact information, but without question the technology that they have and their response intervened in this situation. Mr. Chesney, like I said, was placed under arrest for DUI as well, so he was intoxicated and with his child on board and attempted to ram a Seattle police officer. Those are some pretty serious things. So we're happy that he's home safe now, and Mr. Chesney's in custody.
For clarification, would you classify this as a kidnapping? Because you said he kind of went around whether or not he was in danger.
Yeah, so it's something we need to look at. If it's a kidnapping, it's a custodial interference charge, and you know there's a protection order violation, and so our detectives will be working with the prosecutor's office to get the charge right.
Chief, do you know who had custody of the child and why Mr. Chesney went there?
So he's actually a custody of the state at this point, the child is, and his family member is a grandmother that lives in the city.
So the grandmother was the legal guardian?
Correct.
Maternal grandmother? Or?
No, I'm not sure that. The legal guardian, I believe, is the state, and the grandmother has a family access to her, to the child.
Was at the grandmother's residence?
That's correct.
There were some pretty dramatic moments that went down when police had surrounded that car in order to get that child away from his dad. Can you sort of explain what happened? We could see a little bit through the sunroof, but it was hard to tell what was going on.
Right. It's a Seattle Police Department operation. I was not there. I saw the same thing that you did. So I don't have firsthand knowledge, so I'd have to defer to Seattle.
Chief, I mean, were cameras, like you were saying, he was spotted on camera at a gas station. I mean, you had also mentioned license plate readers. Were those tools helpful?
Absolutely. I mean, that's how we got the information. That's how Seattle Police Department found him. And also alert officers. The officer that spotted him saw him coming at him on the road and noticed the vehicle, and he gave chase. And so it's just a great job of the officers using that technology and being aware that when an Amber Alert hits, it's all hands on deck, and we work together to find that child.
Can you talk about the child's injuries? How's he doing?
The child's not injured. The child was taken into custody and taken to Children's Hospital and has already been released.
A couple of quick things. What was the nature of that 911 hang-up call? Do you know yet? And then secondly, was there not a second suspect in that car? If so, who was that?
So the original call came as a 911 hang-up call because of a verbal altercation inside the house between Mr. Chesney and two other people that we have identified, who once the 911 call was made, they observed Mr. Chesney's actions. They actually left the scene, and so we took both of those into custody, interviewed them, and one of the suspects actually has a protection order as well, and so he'll be going to jail tonight.
Do we think the child was sitting on the lap of his dad in that car? It looked like he was holding on to the child.
I don't know. I haven't been briefed by Seattle Police Department as to the exact nature of the arrest. I just saw what you saw, talked to the lead officer on scene just about his officers and everybody's okay. But as far as those types of details, I don't have those.
Can you go into some of Mr. Chesney's background, what he's been convicted of, arrested for? We said he was arrested 53 times, convicted of at least 10 felonies. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Paul, do you want to come do that? This is Captain Paul Armbrust, and he's our operations captain here.
So like the chief said, Mr. Chesney is very well known to law enforcement throughout King and Snohomish County. I can't really talk about specific arrests that he's been taken in custody for, but suffice to say there are multiple violent felonies, multiple domestic order violations, and multiple assaults and other misdemeanors.
So why wasn't he in custody now? Did he bail on something, or?
Apparently he is. He's out on community custody right now. He's under DOC supervision.
And is the reason why he does not have custody of the child because of one of those offenses, or do we know?
I can't really answer that. I don't know. I don't know why the state has taken custody of him.
And do we know where the boy's mom is?
It's unknown right now. I don't know where she is.
Can either of you speak to how you deal with a 5-year-old who's gone through something like that, especially on the scene? I mean, right away we could see officers surround the child, and what do you do in that scenario?
We do everything we possibly can to get that child away from danger and get them to medical attention, and then whatever support we can give that child and family, we will do. So it's going to be a long haul for a little guy like that.
The unique thing about where he's at today is that he's in a school district that cares. We're very close to them. Our officers actually know the grandmother. They've been to the house many times. They know the child. And we have in the north end a mental health professional that comes out with our officers and rides, along with the Bothell Police Department, Shoreline Police Department. We've partnered to have this mental health professional come out. And so we'll refer our mental health professionals to go do checkups on the child and make sure that that child has services that are appropriate.
I may be asking a question you don't know the answer to, but one of the police officers had a teddy bear on scene, ready to go.
Right.
Is that standard operating procedure?
Absolutely. I think that was probably a leading question for Paul, and you had to lead me too, but absolutely. We take teddy bears. We have a ton of teddy bears in our cars, and it's the comforting part to make sure that child's okay. you know, it's traumatic. He's seeing his father be arrested, and so it's traumatic on many different levels. So that's a good point.
But Chief, this all happened in 45 minutes, is that correct?
Once the Amber Alert was issued, yes.
What do you think about that speed? 45 minutes?
That's amazing. That's what I'm saying. This is amazing. So it worked, and a great job by the Seattle Police Department. Us getting it in, Bothell Police Department getting it to the State Patrol. There's so many layers to get it in, and it got in and it worked.
Could you explain the kind of hoops that you have to jump through in order to get an Amber Alert declared? Because you were talking about it meeting a certain criteria.
Yeah, there's 5 criteria that are in place to make sure that we have the information to put it out to the public. As you know, being in the media, if we take up 20, 30 seconds of time of a paid advertisement on a show or something, it's a big thing going across all media. So we have to make sure that these everything's in a row. We have a suspect, the child's in danger, the child's under 18, and we have a way to describe the vehicle that they're in, so to speak. And it's important that all those are in a row. And the State Patrol had a question early on, and it took us a little bit to get over it. Once we got them on the phone on a conference call and described it, State Patrol staff, I would say within 5 minutes it was up. So again, it worked seamlessly, and it was done right.